We are back, everybody, with episode 18 of the Jader and Kyle show. It has been a journey thus far, everybody. Thank you for joining us. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Jader. Jader, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? We're 18. We are legal.
I
How
know,
we
right?
feeling out there, huh?
We can go get some cigarettes and win the lottery. And, it's a bright
Yeah,
spot
no.
in this 2020.
It really is. It really is, man. But yeah, man, great week, to be honest with you. Busy
Yeah,
as all hell.
what's been going on?
Busy, man. It's the last week my mom's here, so I've been trying to spend a lot of time with her. My little brother left town last week. He went back home to Texas. And shout out to one of Schmodown friend of mine, man. Mike. He actually was talking to him over the weekend, and he works for Universal Studios, and he was just like, "Hey, man, come up, see what we can link up or something like that." Unfortunately, our days didn't mesh well or anything like that. But I ended up taking my mom. My mom hadn't been at Universal since I think like 1995.
Jeez.
So she's never seen Islands of Adventure and anything like that. And at first, I was very precautious of how everything was going to be. I didn't know, but he on Messenger, he made me feel pretty safe even throughout. He's like, "No, man, everybody's getting taken care of. Everything is we're abiding all the rules, this and then that." He's like, "I think you and your mom are gonna have a good time." This is an exhausting trip, man. I got up at 5 a.m., hit the road, got to the park at like 8:45. Park Universal opened at 9. Did all the rides. Excruciating hot because we have to wear face masks on top of that.
That's hard.
Super hot,
phone, man. I can't even.
man. I was sweating in places I didn't even know I could sweat, like to sweat through my mustache and stuff, dude. It was so bad. But a whole lot of fun, man. The only thing that kind of like ruined the day, to be honest with you, was the rain that we ended up getting, that we were all wishing for, to be honest with you, because it was so hot. But It ended up being like a thunderstorm where they shut the park down like 2 hours early. Like they were open, but everything was closed except for Spider-Man. So that's the only thing other than that. But let me tell you, man, they 100% are taking care of business over there, man. Parkings are even 6 feet apart. There's like one parking space, yes, one parking space, no. So you got to leave, space. The wait times were super fast. The one thing that I probably can tell you that also kind of got me upset was because when I go to the theme parks, I'm like, hey, we have this much time to do this, especially knowing that they're closing early, right? So I was just trying to hit up all the rides. Imagine 95, and we started at Universal because they opened earlier. Islands opened an hour later. So I wanted to be at Universal early, do the Universal rides, jump over to Islands, and then introduce my mom to a whole new theme park,
Mm-hmm.
There were virtual lines in Universal for a couple rides. So basically what you do is you got to download the app. And they didn't tell us this in the front, and that's what kind of got me like upset. More upset. Had I had more time, I wouldn't have cared because it actually does go pretty fast. But since you're like on a time like restraint, you want to do everything at the time that that you're doing. I felt like Robert De Niro's character in Meet the Parents, where he's telling everybody the times that they have to go to certain things.
Yeah.
I honestly felt like that. But so we hit up where Fast and Furious is. I don't like that ride. I think it's like the worst ride Universal's ever made.
That's what my sister was just telling me. Replace the Men in Black ride, and everyone hates it.
No. Men in Black is still there.
Oh,
Men in Black. It replaced.
last time I went.
It did. It replaced like Earthquake and Beetlejuice Graveyard and all that stuff. It's like that whole area, right?
Okay.
Ride sucks though. I wouldn't be surprised if they take that down quick. To be completely honest with you. It's terrible. But that ride is usually very low in wait time. When I got there, they're like, "Oh, it's virtual line or 45-minute wait." And I was like, "Hell no, I'm not waiting 45 minutes for this ride." So the virtual line was like a 25-minute wait or 30-minute wait or something like that.
Whoa.
And hey, look who it is. What is this?
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Crash the party.
Mini little takeover.
party,
And I
huh?
instantly improved your view.
Look
Cheers,
at that,
guys.
man.
Hey, look.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Just got finished with one of my shows. I'm sorry to interrupt like this.
He's drunk. He stumbled into the wrong show. All over.
He's like trying to.
Don't worry about what's going on here. Right? I'm a little thirsty. Hold on. Let me take a sip.
Oh boy.
All right. So look, I just finished the show and I saw you guys went live. I shared your show out all over the place as I always do. And I just wanted to say I miss you guys.
We miss you too.
I miss you
Why don't
more,
you come
man.
on? We've invited
Why
you.
don't
to
you jump
Steph,
right-
I see you in the studio, in the lobby. Miss you too. 18
No, get it on,
episodes.
get it on, man.
Let's
You
do
wanna
this.
bring her in?
now.
Let's get her on.
Yo!
Hey.
Hello.
Now it's a party. Now it's a
Damn
party.
right.
So look, Kyle, I'm
Yeah.
going to do an on-air tutorial right here. Right beneath where it says the Jader and Kyle
Oh my
show, episode
God.
18, you can change the way the look is seen.
We were just
Yeah.
playing around with it before the show
Boom.
started.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Well, look. And then
Oh, we look like the Brady
If-
Bunch.
the Brady Bunch. Jader beneath me like he always should be. So, and then at the very
More ways than
bottom,
one, bro.
click the solo view. If Jader's on a
Hey!
rant about,
Yeah, look at
Hey.
sexy
that.
guy there, boom.
Quite the view there, man.
I know this is the content all our viewers want. So
That is exactly what
Sorry,
they
man.
want. It's what they want. All right. I just wanted to say what's up, guys, and have a good show. And what a great choice of movies you're talking about today.
it's gonna be fun.
Oh,
So
yeah.
let's do this right now. Steve, thank you again for joining us. Steve's been getting
Of course, absolutely.
on me every single week for not messing around with the different screens and not
Not
paying
only
Every
that, he
week.
gets the comments. The comments is what he gets me with. He's
No,
like,
me-
acknowledge the comments.
Hey, both of
which
you.
we have 0 right now. I don't know about if that's if
So there's here's another thing. Facebook, there's some kind of delay today. The comments will come in about 10 minutes after they actually show up. So that's a Facebook thing. And also, Kyle, we can broadcast to 3 different locations now.
Oh, cool.
All right. Well, next time.
No,
Gotcha.
not next time. I got this for you. Look at me.
Oh, okay.
I'm like producing here. Look at this.
Goddamn
That's
right.
look at you, man.
You are now live on
Oh,
Twitter as
Justin.
well.
Hey, look at that.
Oh,
Huh?
can you share?
Hello,
Can you retweet me?
bitches.
Can you tweet it?
Who loves you?
This guy.
Steve-O.
This guy
Oh, this
loves
guy.
you.
Your
it's-
room
we
is
can only
extremely
get
blue
Steve
and
on-
orange.
We can only get
it's
Steve
because
on when the
it's
Mets
my
win.
man cave. This is my man cave. This is Mets colors, blue and orange. I got the Rangers, Knicks. Oh, it's
No
tough back
Gators.
there.
Good for you.
Oh no. Right there, baby.
You need a little green in there. Need a
That's
little
about
green.
Tebow.
He
Don't
mentioned
talk about
every team
Tebow.
that I like. He mentioned every team that I like except for the Giants. I mean, every team I hate except for the Giants. Sorry,
I do too,
Whiskey's
the
already
Giants.
kicking in. I was like, no. I'm like, when he says it, I'm gonna cheer and nothing. We got nothing.
Well, he has
That's a
green,
fail.
blue and orange, not blue and red.
Blue and orange. Right there, baby. Little
There
Mets.
it is.
All right.
He's just doing his plugs right now. Okay. Yeah,
That's-
put it in the book. We know. Yeah, good
Oh,
show.
Yeah.
If you're a Yankee fan, which we won't judge on that, this Saturday, 11:30
Judge.
a.m.
I see
special.
what you did there
special
with Judge.
Empire 161 show with Tim and Ed. They're going to do a special one, 11:30 a.m. this Saturday before the Yankees doubleheader. 7 innings apiece. All right, that's it. I'm out.
All right. Get
Yeah,
out
we
of
have
here.
movie nerds here, bro. Come on, this is a movie show. Get the hell out of here.
Hey, I can talk movies with you anytime.
Just
Goddamn
kidding,
right.
just kidding, man.
It's
You
New
know I like
York
sports.
team out there. Did you hear that?
What was that?
Oh,
It's
hey,
a New York team out
When I
there.
get upset, the accent comes out. It rears its head.
All right.
all right. So we
Yeah.
got our
Later.
look, we do got a couple
You got it.
comments. We have asking if Steve is drinking a screwball.
We have no idea.
Who asked that?
That's from Gil. And then Gil's. There you go.
Here's your
Hey,
answer.
that thing's-
Makes
is that
some
the
adjustments
peanut
there.
butter one?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the peanut butter one. It's delicious.
Ew.
it's smooth. So don't
I
ill
love it.
before you try it. I'm pointing the
No,
ball at you.
I'm a
asked,
beer
I asked
girl.
her to try it. I asked her to try it, and she didn't. She didn't try it. It was pretty good though.
Really?
I had it when
Liquor?
we were.
Liquor and
Hold on
peanut
a
butter
second.
funky mix.
You just outright said no. I'm not even going to try it. You're one of those people.
No, I try everything. But peanut
Wait.
butter is funky and it's hot, and then on your stomach,
Mind you, she
that
It's not
sounds like
hot.
a bottle full of shits.
I.
I'm sorry.
It happens to people,
See, you didn't even deny it. Nay, sir.
But it never
man, we
happened to me. It
gotta-
hasn't happened to me. It's super smooth.
We got a couple shout outs for Steph. Hey Steph, how are you? That's Gil Gilberto. And then we got Javi on the
Gilliam,
Javi says, Shardy. That was it.
my friend. That's my friend. I got friends. Hi.
Jader, keep us updated as the show goes on because I'm not
You have
getting
friends.
anything out here.
Very good.
Yeah. I got you, man. I got you. Don't worry about it. All right.
Steve,
Let's
All right,
thank you.
guys.
show, man.
All of you, miss you all. Hopefully
Me
we'll
too,
be
brother.
together again soon. Later, guys.
Yeah.
Later. Thanks, man.
All right. So I guess we
All right.
should move in. So Steph is here, everybody. Steph, welcome to the show. Do you want
Hello.
to introduce yourself to everybody? Well, Steve's messing around with the bottom blocks right now. Introduce yourself. Tell the world, tell our audience, who are you?
Well, I'm not P.O.P., as my name says. I'm Stephanie.
Oh,
I'm
no.
Jader's. Wait, this way. Wait. Jader's girlfriend. This guy.
Are we dating? Is that who I am?
I'm leaving. Goodbye. I'm just kidding. Yes. And it's my first time on the show, so thank you. Yay! And I'm excited.
Welcome,
And I love Paul Rudd.
welcome.
We're happy to have you here.
Thank you.
We've been talking about trying to get you on for a couple weeks now. Like, what should we do to get Steph on the show? What kind of movies or what kind of person should we make this a worthy topic for Steph? And Jader I brought up that I wanted to do a Paul Rudd episode. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do a specific movie, but he told me that this is your number one guy. This is your number one celebrity right here. What do you love about Paul Rudd so much?
Well, he's ask him. I'm in no way, shape, or form shy to approach any star. I've done it before. I've gotten those pictures. I don't care. I've gotten my tits signed by rock band people. I don't give a crap. I'm not shy.
This is
However,
true. This is true.
However, Paul Rudd is probably the only celebrity walking this planet that I'll probably stay starstruck with. Like, not be able to approach him. I'm like, how do I even come up to him and be like, I love you? Like, crap bag, I love you. So it's but I love his personality, like in general. Even if I've heard stories about him even not being in on camera, that he's still like a stand-up guy, like a great guy to even be around. And just him on the screen he always puts a smile on my face, even when he's doing like a serious role, which he does that a lot. When he's starring in a role, he does a lot of serious roles as opposed to like being the quirky one. He's more of a, my girl left me, I'm sad, help me. Right. But even then he puts a smile on my face. I love that man.
So tell us right now, since you and Jader live together, what is it like living with our co-host here, with Jader? Is he? Let's get to the bottom of this. How is Jader at home? Is he messy, or is he?
That's what I was just gonna say. I was like, well, I'm not gonna give you a tour of the room. I'm not gonna give you the tour of the room because then. But
First of all, don't even start.
And focate, I wasn't done. It's actually not as bad as I thought it would be.
What's that?
I
what
love
did
it.
you think it was going to be? Let's start there.
Yo, what are you doing, Kyle? What are you doing?
Because a lot of people say that when people move in, you want to kind of like choke each other, and I think we've been very well. Like we have the same style in movies, the same like flow, I guess you can say. Like if we're gonna get up and clean, we'll clean. Like one will do one side, one will do the other. If we're gonna wash dishes and cook, I'll cook, he'll watch. Like it. We get along good. It's good teamwork. So it's actually pretty good, except for the mess. But other than that,
that was all scripted. I don't know if you know that, but I gave her the. No, I knew you were gonna ask questions like that.
He snores like the only thing is that he snores like a train. Other than that, fantastic.
That's new though. That's actually new. I didn't have that. I didn't have that. That's something that was recently developed. Which I was told I have sleep apnea, and thanks for putting my shit out there. But apparently that's.
Well, I had to put a negative.
Yeah. No, you don't. No, you don't. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's great. I have no complaints. Oh,
so. That's scripted too. I'm just kidding.
That was pretty short and sweet. Jader's usually got long answers, so.
No, but for real, honestly, that's one thing that when we like started the whole quarantine. We were like, oof, let's see how this goes. Because I've heard a lot of people like have like splitted or hate each other's guts or just don't want to see each other. And it's been like the exact opposite. That's why I feel like the whole like practicing that he does, we do good because I've been watching a lot of movies with him. So I can help out as far as that. It's not this, it's this. You get what I'm saying? Like that, right. I don't know. I feel like it's been like, do you need something at the house?
She'll randomly be writing down questions as we're watching films, and I don't know what she's writing down. And then she'll ask me at the end of it.
Right now, Steph, like how's life changed ever since Jader got into the Schmodown, has had to start studying from there?
Super exciting. It's exciting. Number one, it's exciting because I remember, I know we've spoken about this on the show, on the Schmodown, everywhere it's been said over and over. Like, how it's a Cinderella story. But on my part, I'll tell you, you've never heard my part. My part is it's exciting to see it because I saw him like glow watching the show. So he would see it and he would answer and he would kick ass. And I was like, what? You're good? And he's like, that's where I belong. He would tell me. And I wanted to write a letter to the show telling them that he belongs there. And I wanted to like record him one day without him knowing and send the video as far as like a tryout. So to see it happen, like when he said that we were going with you and with Gil and sitting there and then stating that I was going to win. And actually, by the way, for the record, I don't win shit. I've never won anything. In elementary, somebody gave me a trophy. I was sitting in the like audience. And then 5 minutes later, a teacher walked up and was like, excuse me, that wasn't for you. It was for the girl next to you.
Aww.
And I was like 6. My heart broke. So I don't win shit. This is probably the first thing I've ever won ever in my life. So I was like, oh. So it feels good being able to how it worked out eventually as far as timing and that I was part to make like some kind of dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, Jader explained that about a couple weeks ago. How the whole thing happened. You know, I remember the day we were there. You winning the ticket and saying, you know, I won, you won, and then him running up on stage and winning. It was really a special moment for him and for everybody there. We had
it was actually fun sitting next to you because then you were hitting all the questions too, and I was like, damn, I should have won 2 tickets.
No, I'm happy for Jade. I really am, and it's been nice on all of our ends. Like we've been doing everything we can to get this guy prepared, and you know,
Kyle's like my unofficial manager and shit.
He is, and I'm like the unofficial like shit talker. Like every time I hear like people do their thing, I'm like, what they just say? And then I start like rapping all my stuff that I would
Jader's
say.
Got a whole team. You got a whole team.
It's fantastic. I have my own entourage, man.
Except I'm a savage, so he's like, calm down.
Yeah, she says something. She's like, just say this in your promo, and I'm like, whoa, relax.
But it's not like, but it's not like go die kind of thing. Like it's straight up like a slap in the face.
No, yeah, it's like lay down. This train track is gonna run over you. It's gonna reverse, come back, and then you die. That's what she says.
And then I tell him, I'm like, you gotta do the Samuel Jackson, like stare at the camera, like right after you say it. No, but
you gotta stare at the camera when they're answering. Just
because he's the shy one. He's the shy one, and I'm not. I don't care. I'll say whatever comes out. No filter.
It's crazy. Do you consider me shy? Not you. I know you do. I mean, I know you do. Do you, Kyle?
No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that you're shy. I mean, we haven't like hung out in person enough to be able to do that just because this pandemic.
I'm just shy in certain situations. I guess that's one. But overall, I don't feel like I'm a shy person. But the thing is that she just like, if I'm at a 10, she's like at a 20.
All right, so let's use the word outspoken. I'm very outspoken.
Yeah, she's very outspoken. That's what it is.
Yeah,
but
pick the right word.
It's been great. It's been like it's not even me like doing all this, and it's been straight up a dream come true. Like even watching the first actual competition, like at the actual California studio, it was great how they did everything and how they made everything.
Yeah, she had like completely behind the scenes everything.
Yeah,
like
everything.
It's crazy how the things go down behind the scenes, man.
Yeah, and I was like, and then everybody was like, sit next to me, and then I was watching it, and then seeing it go down, and then him winning was like thebomb.com. It was, and then hanging out with everybody, so sweet in that team. Everybody from like the production to like the actual like competitors.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, sweet, huge team. It's awesome. So yes, everything is, and I hope, and I tell him, I'm like, you keep going. I know you're good. Don't psych yourself out, because he psychs himself out. I'm like, you are worthy of being here. You already did your part so far, including Orlando, undefeated.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. He's got a match against Jim coming up. Probably like I think in 2 weeks. So you're really close here.
August 19th it premieres, man. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, be prepared, everybody. It's hopefully it's gonna be fun. But let's get into this tonight. So a couple weeks ago was for Jader's birthday. Jader wanted to talk about his favorite comedy of all time, Dumb and Dumber. We had Mark Ellis on, and we talked about it. It was a great episode. And for my birthday, which is 2 days from now, Saturday, I said I want to do Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd. I want to just talk about him. We'll have to break down one movie of his, but let's talk about a Paul Rudd night. Like, let's just have fun talking about Paul Rudd for the next 15, 20 minutes here. This man is just so likable on every single level. You know, he's got the charm, he's got the charisma, but he also feels like us. He's an everyday type of person. I feel like we could just walk up to him on the street and have a nice conversation with him, even though he's a superhero now. Like, it feels like he can do anything. So, like,
he's in a Marvel film, dude. He's in a Marvel film. Like,
Jader, I know. Okay, do this right now, Jader. I know you have a story about Paul Rudd. Do you want to tell that to the audience?
I do. All right. I mean, I was gonna transition the story to how I met him because it was through the movie we will review, but we'll go ahead and do it now. It's no big deal. So yeah, I went to a screening to go see I Love You Man, which crazy. It's been what, 11 years? Crazy. It came out in 2009, man.
Yeah.
Wow. That's bananas to me. So I went. It was one of the first films that I got to go see a screening for. And nothing. It was regular day. I had seen a couple already. I think that was like maybe my third or fourth. I wasn't reviewing it. I was just, part of that email where I was getting invited and whatnot. And when I was watching that movie, and it had an Apatow feel to it, but I knew it wasn't an Apatow film. You get me? But it does have that feel to it. And I was loving every second of it. From the very, very beginning, man, like just the little quirky like one-liners between the women in the car after they propose, you know, and they're like, "Oh, is this
lock that tongue down, girl?
Lock that tongue down, girl!" Like things like that. Like, oh no. So little things like that, I was like, okay, I'm in. And again, I'm gonna fast forward to the story because I'm gonna start reviewing the film if I start talking about it. Movie ends, and they had told us to stick around when the movie ended. They're like, "Hey guys, stick around. We have a little surprise for you." That was the first time I actually saw a celebrity come out. Now we go to screenings and it's not that it's expected, but if they come out, we're like, "Oh man, that's a cool treat." But we've seen it been done. That was the first time it ever happened.
I've never seen one, for the record.
Yeah, she's missed every time.
I've never been blessed.
Oh no, that's BS. When we saw Pet Sematary, Jason Clarke came out.
I don't know him that well, so none of celebrities.
Whatever, dude. Anyways, so he was there, so whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so the fuck, and I hate that I forgot the director's name, dude, because I know he used to work with Stiller a lot. Who's the director of
John Hamburg.
Hamburg.
No.
Hamburg.
Is it John Hamburg? Good job.
Yes.
Look at you. I remember he used to write for Stiller. I know he did Meet the Parents. He did Zoolander, all that stuff. Anyway, so he comes out first, and everybody's cheering and clapping, and then Paul Rudd comes out maybe like 10 seconds later. So that for me,
I would have cried,
and I was one of the last ones to get into the theater because I used to have to make the line before, not anymore. So when we made the line, I was literally in the front row. So I saw the movie like this, but I had Paul Rudd maybe like 10 feet away from me, and very nice guy. They were doing a quick little Q&A, but then they started asking everybody. Oh, shout out to Javi. Look at that. But yeah, we started doing a quick Q&A, and people asking him questions. They asked him about, slapping the bass. Was that improv? A bunch of things that they asked him. And whatever. The Q&A finishes, and they start asking the audience like little questions. It was weird. It was the first time I've ever seen anything like this. They were like, "Oh, so who's off tomorrow?" And then people were raising their hands. So people were, "Oh no!" First they asked who's over 21. I'm lying. Who's over 21? So raise my hand. And then everybody's like, "All right, guys, if you're not over 21, this is the part where you have to leave." I'm like, "Oh shit, what's going down?" Like I thought it was like. It was crazy.
It only means one thing. When 21 gets brought up, it only means one thing.
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, this is awesome. Like, are we gonna,
no, just kidding.
So then there were they asked who was off and who lived in the Miami area. who was close, who was gonna. So once they started like narrowing down, it wasn't too many people left. It was maybe like 25, 30 people, maybe even less. And then they're like, all right, well, tomorrow is mandate day, right? And they're like, you're all invited to go and hang out with Paul Rudd tomorrow at this bar in Coconut Grove, Mr. Moe's, which is one of the bars that I used to go to all the time.
All the time.
And
Moose juice.
Yeah, the moose juice there will really kick your ass, man. But yeah, man. So we ended up going and we ended up playing beer pong with Paul Rudd. He wasn't there for maybe like an hour and a half, which I feel like is a lot for something to make you promote a film or something like that. You get me? Felt like that was ample time. Again, super surrounded. He's not that great at beer pong. It was cool to have him stand next to me and shoot the ball. It was really, it was just a lot of fun, you know? And he was super nice to everybody, talking, asking everybody feedback from the film. How did I do? Because I don't feel like this is his first starring role, you get me? But it was like he was the center of this film. Which it's just why we had to review it for today. I know we had Forgetting Sarah Marshall up there, and we had
Knocked Up,
and we had Knocked Up, and we had this one. But this is the only real answer.
Anchorman's another one where he shines.
No, absolutely. I don't disagree. I feel like, again, I don't think there is a movie where I don't like him in. He's always one of my favorite parts about a film that I watch, right? Yes. But I also feel like this is his starring role. Yeah. Okay. So that's why we needed
Ant-Man, because obviously he's
of course. Yeah, but we weren't going to discuss an MCU film.
Yeah, up until role models. Yeah, well, that's the thing with this man is I'll say this now. I was kind of saving it for Apex Mountain. I could say it right now. I feel like he's consistently been in the public eye since he started on Friends, and just throughout his entire career. If you look at the last 2 decades of comedy, I've talked about this a couple of times. You had the Will Ferrell era from the 90s all the way through the early 2000s. And he's kind of faded away. And that's when Judd Apatow kind of stepped in there. And Apatow changed comedy for what we are at today. He brought in Seth Rogen. He brought in, Jason Segel. He brought in James Franco, Amy Schumer, all these people. They've all come in. And it's made comedy more of just everyday life, finding the funny in everyday life type of thing.
And that's why I love about his films. That's what I love about Apatow films, because it's literally everyday life and just, kind of fucked up situations in them and scenarios and all that, and they're just so relatable. I feel like they're so relatable.
Yes,
they're so relatable.
Even things that they say that make no sense in a conversation makes sense, because you're like, okay, yeah, if you were to meet somebody you don't know how to give out a nickname, you would say later, Jobin. Like if you're awkward, that would happen.
We'll get there. We'll get to the film.
Well, that's the thing too. That's what I wanted to say about Rudd is he's lasted throughout both that transition of comedy. Will Ferrell's really fallen off. What was the last big Will Ferrell movie that everybody enjoyed? I don't think people can really name any. I know
I'd say Step Brothers.
For me, it's Step Brother.
Yeah, that's been a while,
and it's been since came out.
The other guys.
The other guys came out the same year as Step Brothers, 2008.
Oh, did?
Same thing. I think so. Yeah. So I want to say that they came out both those movies came out at the same time. I feel, for me at least, Will Ferrell's last great film was Step Brothers. I'll probably look at IMDb in a bit and probably come back to this, but I want to say off the top, it's definitely the best, in my opinion, at least.
Sorry, guys, my internet went down for a second.
I bet it did.
It's and that group actually, like the you know how a lot of people have their groups, like Adam Sandler has his people, James Franco and Seth Rogen have his people. I feel like that group also, Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, like that, Steve Carell, that group was a solid group. The fact that they didn't keep going was a little disappointing.
Well, that's the thing with Steve Carell too. Steve Carell hasn't really fallen off as far as comedies. He's still in drama, he's killing it, but in comedies, he hasn't made the transition either ever since The Office ended.
I think he's diving into shows now. He's writing a lot of shows, I've heard.
Yeah, but did you guys see Space Force? Like, it wasn't.
I heard it sucked, so that was disappointing.
Yeah, it wasn't funny.
The Office has my heart.
He did a Jon Stewart movie called Irresistible that just came out like a month ago. Wasn't funny either. And it just feels like he's shifted so far into the dramatic that he hasn't really continued on. Paul Rudd has lasted from Friends to the Anchormans to
Dude,
all the way through.
have you seen Clueless?
Yes,
Clueless.
Clueless.
He's
That was
in
where,
Clueless. That's the first time I
that's
ever
where
saw
I fell
Paul
in
Rudd,
love.
dude.
That's
And
where I fell in love. I was like,
I thought he was so great in that film, and I
yes.
feel like
Yeah,
people
I was
don't
like,
talk about him in that movie
nope.
at all. You know,
I was
but
actually, I remember
every
watching that
time.
movie. Sorry, baby, go.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I remember watching that movie and I was like, who is that? And then when she started falling in love with him, I was like, I'm rooting for you. But then I remember she called him a brother and I was like, wait, what? That's incest. Yeah. And then I realized it was because he would like go into the family often. And then I was like, oh, thank God. But that was the first time I fell in love with him, included. So I was like, oh my God, he's handsome and he's hilarious.
Yes.
No, it's not that. You know, you want to know what's crazy? That when I saw him like face to face, I was like, "Oh man, nice to meet you." This and that. I'm like, "Aren't you that guy from Clueless?" And he's like, "Wow." He's like, "Well, yeah." And
You'd be surprised. I feel like he gets that a lot. I feel like all the young women who see him, who meet him in person, like, "Oh, it's that guy from Clueless."
You made me feel so much better. All the young women. Thanks, bro.
I would have gone a different route. I would have called him crap bag.
Crap bag.
Like in Friends.
Yeah, dude.
I would have been like, crap bag. I love you.
Gosh.
I love
you. Yeah, dude.
In Friends,
I have a little quick shout out.
Go for it.
My friend Christy. She just says, first film, or I assume it was the first film. She wrote Overnight Delivery with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, yeah.
That I haven't seen that in a while. Actually, that's like a 5-pointer fucking movie right there because I haven't seen that shit before ever. That's a great shout out. Funny enough, it's not the Jason Blum, but a guy named Jason Blum directed that film. And I always thought it was the horror guy. I'm like, is that the guy that did Overnight Delivery? But it's not the same guy. Just coincidence. But yeah,
it's crazy, man.
Anyway.
So Paul Rudd. So yeah, even like today, look at him today. He was in the biggest movie of all time with Avengers. Had a very key role in this the newest Avengers movie.
He saved everybody.
And now I feel like he's coming in to save the Ghostbusters franchise. That's a movie that we were supposed to get this summer, and now it's going to come out next March. People still, when they see Paul Rudd in the movie, they want to go see the film. His show on Netflix, Living with Myself, was a very interesting, dramatic, but still funny turn for him. People still care about what he's doing. Oh, you did see it?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't finished it, but I was like, Paul Rudd, I'm in, and it's 2 of them, and I clicked and I watched it. And I agree. It was a very the first episode was insane. Like there was a point where I was like, what is going on here? And I was like, this is a different twist to it. I don't know. Did they get green lighted for the second season?
I don't know if that's what they intended to do in the first place. I haven't heard anything on it, but I do know he got nominated for a Golden Globe for that performance.
Yeah, because it was really, really good. It was very interesting.
I'm glad he's getting recognition, and that his star power is still at the top, and it's never faded. I don't think it's ever gone down in anyone's eyes. You just, there's Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd. Everyone says that. I don't think anyone hates him.
He definitely puts butts in seats. Even my mom or my aunt that don't really watch movies the way that we do and all that, right? Yeah. When they see him, they're like, oh, in Spanish, they're like, I like that guy. Ese me gusta. He's very funny. And I'm like, man, this is awesome. This is awesome because, again, I'm not sure if Clueless was his first film, but it's the first movie that I saw him in. And then after that, I remember seeing him in Halloween 6 because he's in the 6th Halloween film.
He's in this next Halloween film as, what's the character's name? Oh, man, they were trying to bring that character back, and he just was so busy with Ghostbusters that they couldn't get him back. So maybe in the future, but at the same time, people still want to see him, and that's what's so cool.
He's amazing. There's a Paul Rudd video, You Spin Me Right Round, in Jimmy Fallon, and ask
everything that he does. Have you seen that? Have you seen that video?
I saw the fixed one too. Too much time.
I've spread that video like bacteria, like coronavirus. Like I've literally shown that freaking video to everyone and their mom, and every time they're like, what song do you want to hear? I'm like, the Paul Rudd, You Spin Me Right Round. Like I need to see him do it, but he does it identical to the guy. It's crazy. just that alone is perfection. He's perfect.
Yeah.
I was happy for him when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. He's a massive Kansas City
Yes,
fan. And then there was videos
massive Kansas
on
City
the
fan.
field. He was on the field celebrating with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs were embracing him like he was one of their own. And he had his little son there. It was amazing to see. Like,
You know, the reason why I was cheering for the Chiefs that night was because of Paul Rudd. Little
really?
fun fact for you. Yes, dude, because I was like, you know, again, Mahomes, he's fucking incredible and all
He's
that shit. But I
literally
was
the best ever. It's crazy.
he's fantastic. But I loved that Paul Rudd loved them so, and I'm like, I just always like, you know, when you always, you know, unless you're you know, you're Jets or the Cowboys, no offense, or the Eagles. I won't.
Brandon.
No, he's actually a Cowboys fan, and Brandon's one of my
Jets
friends.
was the Jets was
Is
the Brandon.
Jets. Yeah, no, one of my close friends is the biggest Jets fan. Anyway, but I was happy as hell that that he was able to celebrate and all that. That shit was incredible for me. So,
and then finally, I feel like something else we should bring up real quick before you get to that is people always bring it up. I hear this so much about him. He doesn't look like he's aged in how many years? His aging. He doesn't
He's
age.
like Keanu
Vampire.
Reeves, man. Keanu Reeves
man.
too.
Yep.
Both
How
of them.
old
I
is
don't know
he?
what the hell they sipping.
Does anyone have Paul Rudd's age off the top of
Paul
their
Rudd
head?
has to be at least
51, and he was born on April 1969.
Oh
the
my
spring of 69.
51 years old. This man looks
That's
like
right.
he could be in his 30s right now. That's
Yeah,
Move
for sure.
over, J-Lo.
crazy to me. Yeah,
he's the
honestly.
male J-Lo.
He's the male J-Lo. And he dances like her too.
Oh
Dude.
my gosh.
Have you seen, bro? If you haven't seen the Spin Right Round video, like,
I've seen it. Yeah, I saw that
Paul
one. I
Rudd?
saw the Sticks one, and I saw they did the King
the
of
Sticks
Wishful
one is
Thinking.
hilarious.
Yes.
Yes, dude.
Yes,
and they're all
yes,
so good.
But
They're all
Spin
so
Me Right
good.
Round is the best. He does.
And
it
finally, there's
perfect.
also the famous Hot Ones meme of, hey, look at us.
Hey, look at us.
We say that to
she
each
says
other
that
all the time.
all the time when we're doing
Who would've
something.
thought?
I'm like, hey, look at
When
us.
we're
Who would have thought?
adulting,
Look at
when
us.
him
Not
and I
me.
are adulting, we're like, hey, look at us. Look at us.
Like we're like
yes.
constantly now like checking our credit and make sure our credit score is super high up. And I'm like, and we'll go up like 8 points. And I'm like, look at us. Look at us.
It's
So let's transition into this. We talked about it kind of at the beginning. He does a lot of supporting roles, and that's where he shines the most. But when he gets the leading role, I think he really shines. And like we said before, Ant-Man, he's really taken the throne on that. He's, stepped into that role and made it that franchise his own. Yeah, he's got a good supporting cast, Michael Douglas, Evangeline Lilly, and all of them. But that's his franchise right there. But I think he got his first big leading role with our movie we're going to talk about tonight. And I Love You, Man. Yeah, he had role models the year before, but I feel like that's him and Sean William Scott. This movie is mostly him until Jason Segel comes along. So I Love You, Man. Jader, you told me before we hopped on today, you've seen this movie so many times. Tell me what about this film that you love so much?
I'm a sucker for romantic comedies, to be honest. No, I'm just playing. No. This is absolutely
he is.
No. This is absolutely a romantic comedy. It's just between
it's a
two straight. It's fine. It's romantic. It's fine. But it is a romantic comedy between two straight dudes, and I find it so fantastic. One of the things about me is that, and she can tell you, I care a lot about my friends. I love my friends to pieces. I've been in relationships where I couldn't see them, or I would get like faulted for seeing them. Like, you're spending too much time with your friends and shit like that. So there's something about me when there's a big bromance in the movie that just captures me from the beginning, right? End of Watch is one of them, where eventually we will review that film. But I love that movie so much because of that bromance between Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena, which Michael Pena was in Ant-Man with Paul Rudd. So there's your transition. But anyways, but I don't know why. Like I said, from the very beginning of this movie, when the first time I saw it, I remember I saw it from the screening, and then I paid opening night to see it again. And then I saw it again. I saw it on that Friday night, and then I went to go see it Sunday again. So by the time that opening weekend, I had already seen it 3 times. It was everything about it. Like, to be honest with you, the one-liners in the films, and we'll just start digging into this. But how awkward it is, man. Like, you know how awkward it is to try to meet friends
Or
whatever.
people.
This is a very real thing, I guess, for a lot of people, for
Exactly.
guys getting married and women
It
too.
happens to me. It
Oh,
happens to me all the time because I'm not your typical chick. Like I will say a joke, or I'm loud. Like I burp. I'm not the prissy. Like no, I'm social. I'm loud. I'm crazy. Like I'm out there. So a lot of people when I meet them, they're like, "What's wrong with this girl?" Like they eventually end up loving me. But it's not the same as when you meet another person, like a typical person. I'm not your everyday girl. So that's happened to me where I crack a joke or that's what she said, and then they don't get it, and then they're looking at me, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna go break dance on the roof or something and bye, like and walk away. So I get that awkwardness a lot.
Well, it's a real situation that they're put into this film too. I guess for a lot of people is when they're getting married, suddenly they're like, oh, I don't have enough people to have a groomsmen, or I don't have enough people for bridesmaids, and they have to start looking for friends. I look at Steph pointing to herself right here.
I have quality over quantity. I don't have a lot of friends.
Well, and that's the thing. You shouldn't be judged on how many friends you have when it comes to that. And it's more about the people that you care about the most. But this film makes Paul Rudd think about, oh wow, shit, I guess I'm kind of a loser if I don't have too many friends, which you find out at the end, that's not true. It is who you are. But you saw kind of the bad version of this with Kevin Hart's The Wedding Ringer with Josh Gad, where he like hires an agency to get to have groomsmen and for his wedding, yada yada yada. But this movie here, I think, just does it right. It's about friendship. It's about like a bromance that happens so naturally. Like I buy their friendship, that they're friends in real life. That it just felt like these guys have been friends for such a long time, and that's what I love so much, is how natural it feels. Steph,
Right.
you tell me about this film. Why do you like this film?
Okay. Like Jader. Well, besides this quarantine, I haven't seen my friends, like hung out with my friends. Like you could ask him. I would hang out with my friends every weekend, and he was part of the group too. And that, for example, let me just give you a scene. Like when they start talking about private stuff, for example, that's stuff that you do with your friends. That and you get that comfort zone with that friend. Or if you want to act like an idiot, like the part when he's like, "I don't want a peanut," that part's hilarious. And stuff that I do with my friends too. Like we'll be out there acting things out. Like once I went out with Nardo, and we were at, shout out to Nardo, I love you. We were at, I think it was Blackbird. We were at Blackbird, and we were bored out of our minds. There wasn't any good music, and Pulp Fiction came on. There's no sound for Pulp Fiction, so the entire movie, she's literally wording every word in the movie for me so I can understand what's going on. And some dude comes to hit on me, and I was like, not right now, guy. We're watching Pulp Fiction. So he walks away, and then we literally did movie beginning all the way to the end at the bar, and that was like heaven. Not the bar, Blackbird. And it was amazing to me. So that kind of like friendship, and they show that in the movie, and that connection. Like you don't have that chemistry with a lot of people. There's certain things you could say to one person, you cannot say to the other. So that connection that they show with them it's special. I love that movie, and I think it's, and how you like how they one says a joke and then the other one backs it up. It's I love that movie. I mean, it was great.
So do you guys want to jump into the categories here? You guys want to start breaking down?
No, whatever you want. Whatever you want, man.
Actually, before we do this, let's talk about some of his other roles real quick. What are some of your favorite Paul characters? Let's start off with you. One. What's your favorite Paul Rudd character?
I'm sorry, you got cut off. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you got cut off. I didn't hear who's going first.
Jader, let's start with you, man. Who's your favorite Paul Rudd character?
Oh my god, dude. But
so many.
It's tough, dude. It's tough. It's tough for me, to be completely honest with you. I'm probably gonna put Peter Clavin as my number one. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's how much I love this. I do love this movie. Peter Clavin is probably I absolutely love this film because, man, you feel sorry for the guy, but at the same time, it's just who he is. You get me? And exactly, you kind of nailed that. Nailed it when you said that at the end of the movie, it doesn't matter who, how many friends you have. It's never quantity over quality. You know, it's who's going to be there for you at the end of everything. But I also really, and I love when he does his really dumb roles, like in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And then you even saw that I put my name as Kunu,
And P.O.P.
which is and P.O.P. and all that stuff. Like, and again, it's both of them from I Love You, Man. You know,
That's why I put him. I was like, let me back it up.
Yeah. So it's but it's just an Anchorman. He outshined for me an Anchorman. Him and Steve Carell. Like, I went to go see that movie for Will Ferrell, and it was Steve Carell and Paul Rudd stole the show for me. You know,
Sex Panther, like just the
yes, dude. It's just everything about it, dude. You know, and you can't forget about him in fuck, I forgot the movie. I don't forget him. 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Well,
you know,
let me throw out one too. Wet Hot American Summer. I think that's one where it's such a huge cast, and I think when he just comes flying in on the motorcycle and it just hops off and it's still going and it crashes and he acts like it's nothing, or when he's in the cafeteria and just kind of throws a tantrum. I just in that movie where you have Bradley Cooper and Amy Poehler and Mike Showalter and all these huge, massive stars, he's one who stands out to me, and I think that's great. Let me throw out one more. You said 40-Year-Old Virgin. I'm going to go with Knocked Up. I love Pete in that movie.
I love
and in the party. He steals the movie from me in Knocked Up, which we will get to eventually on the show.
Let me tell you, my most relatable character in any of the character that I relate the most to is Pete.
Yeah,
like hands down, is the most relatable character that he's ever played. It's crazy how kind of on beat he was with a part of my life where I'm like, damn, like I feel this fucking character 100%. I understand him.
In that movie, one of my favorite moments is when they're in Vegas at the hotel and Seth Rogen's just like opening his feelings, and Paul Rudd's like, he's like, dude, there's 5 different kinds of chairs.
And he's sitting there, he goes, this one's tall.
Time out. My favorite part is when he fucking starts fisting his mouth. He's like, it
how many mushrooms
kills me every time.
Oh.
Steph, what's your favorite Paul Rudd character?
Mike Crapbag from Friends.
Oh wow! Tell us why. That's a interesting choice.
Yeah. Well, Friends is my favorite show ever, and Phoebe is like me. So when they finally introduced him, like even the way he introduced himself to her, because she was playing the guitar, and then he's like, "Oh, I play the air piano," and then he goes, "No, the air keyboard," and she's like, "Oh yeah, you want to play me something?" And then he goes, and he gets up, and he's like, and he starts acting like a dork, and then he goes, bing, and then sits down. She's like, "Wow," and then everything about him, just the way he like handles her weirdness, and like embraces it, and just kind of like helps her out with that. Their wedding makes me cry. Every freaking time.
Every time that episode comes on, she's bawling. Every
like the
time.
part where she's like, "I've never had a big family, and you became my family." I was like, crap bag. Like, I love him in that show. From there, I will say Anchorman. I think he was hands down the funniest character in that freaking movie. There's a part where no one really notices it, but Christina Applegate is trying to be serious and saying the news, and he's like shirtless in his underwear in the background doing like a dance thing, like thrusting with his hair all out, and I was like, bro, he's the shit. That's bae. And everything, like I said, what's weird to me, what I would like to see from him, you're gonna give a negative, well, not a negative, if anything, like a do this instead of that sometimes. Like I said, a lot of his roles are very serious. Like he's the serious character of the role. He's like in Dinner for Schmucks, he's miserable because his girl left him. Yeah. In Role Model, he's miserable because his girl left him. In Ant-Man, he's miserable because he went to jail and his wife left him.
Because his girl left him.
Yeah. So he's literally the same guy in every freaking movie. Like, and he's so funny. Like, I wish there would be a movie where he would be the like funny one, like how he is on the side character. Every side character, he's funny as hell. He's never the serious one. Do you get what I'm saying?
You know, absolutely. I also want to throw in a special shout out to one of my favorite TV series of all time, where he has a small role in during one season, and it's Parks and Rec. Bobby Newport. Bobby, when they did the reunion special,
I didn't know he was
now,
in
you
there.
Just get dude. She does not want to watch Parks and Rec. I'm in
you
season
need to watch
2.
Parks and Rec.
I find it pretty funny. She's like, I don't think it's funny. And she saw
Well,
the
I'm
whole
attached
first
to
season,
The Office.
but she's
The
so
first
attached to
season's
The
not that
Office.
good.
Huh?
The first season's not that good, but man, it picks up
I think
so
it picks
much.
up during season 2. Season 2's
Oh, yeah.
really fucking funny.
Where's Paul Rudd?
He-
What season's Paul Rudd in?
I believe he shows up in season 3, and
I know, push.
there's a Bobby. His name's Bobby Newport, and he's the son of this large candy company that's owned in Pawnee, Indiana, and he's running for office against Amy Poehler. It's so funny. And when they did the reunion special during this pandemic we've been having, he was the first character that popped up to introduce the special, and it just made everyone so happy to go back to it. So Bobby Newport's a great character. Watch Parks and
All right,
Recreation.
I gotta give a quick timeout to the show. We gotta read the comments. I got a comment from Tim. He says he's met Paul Rudd, very nice guy. That was early on the show. Then my friend Christy, she did say it was the first time that she ever saw Paul Rudd. So that was that. I don't know if you want to put the one that Nardo put up on the screen.
I have. They're coming in
two of
from
them
right now.
There's two of them. There's two of them now.
That's my
Okay.
friend. Best friend. I love you. I love you, muchacha.
So there's that. Then we have Tim. He said it. He's like, I've been with my wife for 25 years. I totally get Pete from Knocked Up. Feel that. Nardo Rose Parks and Recs. And did you guys discuss Forgetting Sarah Marshall, best surfer instructor ever? So
well, I feel like Forgetting Sarah Marshall is going to come up while we're doing the categories because
it will.
Let's do the categories right now. Let's start with the first one. Best scene. What is the best scene in this movie that you go back to all the time? Steph, let's start with you. What's your pick for best scene?
The concert scene. Where they're at the Rush concert. Yes. Yeah, hell yeah. That scene alone, it makes the movie for me. The part, because all of us in the concert, when you feel the song, like when we went to Korn, that was me and him at Korn. Like we were dying at Korn. We were losing our shit. I even told them, I'm like, put me on your shoulders. I'm gonna put my shirt on my head and I'm gonna do this just like Paul Rudd. And so that whole entire scene was awesome. That's actually the only time I didn't like Rashida Jones' character in the movie, because I was like, okay,
she was awesome throughout.
She's amazing through the movie, except for that
very
part,
supportive and all that.
Yeah. And then I'm like, it's the one time you see him that he's excited that he finally found a friend, and it's the one time you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, no, that sucks. Involve yourself. I'm that type of person to jump in. So I was like, no, get on his shoulders too. Like, involve yourself. That's the only part that I didn't like from her character. She was amazing throughout the movie, though. I liked that she was like, find somebody, go out, do you, like, have your time. I like that in a relationship. So that part from her, I was like, it's encouraging. So the concert scene alone is hilarious. Like a part where it's okay to lick somebody, your friend's base. Like that part is hilarious. That I love that scene. I rewind that shit all the time. And fun fact, that Rush band stayed after filming to perform for the whole crew. So they did the actual concert
that we have later on. So
yeah,
that's fun. All right, so
she did her details too. Look at that.
Jader, go ahead.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna pick two scenes, and they're both the montages. To be honest with you.
Oh,
no. Yeah, the montages. I absolutely love the montage in the beginning where he's trying to meet the friends. When he's playing with poker and Jon Favreau just loses his fucking mind. He vomits on him.
Yes.
He gets kissed.
The guy that kisses.
Everything.
Thomas Lennon is amazing in this film.
Fantastic in this film. Fantastic in this film.
But that guy's actually really underrated because he's great in 17 Again.
Yes.
17 Again, he's great. He's fantastic in that. But for me, that scene, and then when you see him actually with Sydney and all the fun that they're having. So I love the transitions of both montages where you go from that whole awkwardness and everything to, hey, this guy's really having the time of his life right now. And he's actually legitimately meeting somebody that he's having just a great time. Like he met his best friend. So I love both those scenes. Those are my two favorite scenes in the whole film.
Piggyback off of what he's saying, the way they make it look like it's a dating process,
Yes.
like picking the right
Yeah.
friends off
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
montages, I think is so genius. Like the
It's
way
really
he
cute.
like goes on internet and he's like, "Nice to meet you too, Mike," and then he gets there and it's an old man because it's an old picture. Who, by the way, is one of the best characters in that movie. I love that
He's
viejo.
so funny.
But
All right.
that I think is genius how they do that.
I'm gonna go. So there's two that I was deciding. I can just throw them both out there, but the one that I think wins is the engagement dinner scene where Jason Segel just stands up. He wants to give a toast. He's like,
Return the favor.
he's a
Return the
giver.
favor.
Yeah, he
The
loves to
fact that
make.
he winks
Yes,
when he winks, he's like, "Return the favor."
do it back. Give it back.
Give it back.
And then the car ride home where when he talks to him, he's like, "So you just told my fiance to give everyone a blowy." They tell me to give me a blowy. That's so funny. And I also like the when Pete and Sydney first meet at the housewarming party or whatever
Play
it is.
by play.
Yeah, when he's going over. I watch that dude. He's about to fart. He's holding it in right now.
Yes. And
I
when he
love
goes,
that.
"Yeah, I don't like this place. It smells like fart too." He goes, "Roll down your window, sweetheart."
Roll down your windows. So great.
So good. All right. Best line. This was tougher for me because I feel like it's the conversations and interactions. So it's tough to narrow it down to one line. So I went easy with this. I just went with slapping the bass. Slapping the bass, man. It's so memorable. Before even seeing this movie, I knew this line because people like to quote it all the time. What's the most quotable Paul Rudd line? It's either this or like Sex Panther or something. I feel like this is the one people go back to. And the way this scene just keeps going, he doesn't let up. Slapping the bass, man.
He sounds like a leprechaun.
Yeah.
Everything I do sounds like a leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Jader, go ahead. What do you got?
I definitely cheated on this because I couldn't put just one. So I put down all the Clavinisms. Like everything that comes out of this man's mouth for me is hysterical. You got it, Jobin, and Pistol Pete, and then he goes, what does he say when he's leaving him the message? See you tomorrow. See you some other time. He's like, what? You know, he's like, what the hell did I just say? Totes my goats.
That's not. No, when he goes, later, city slicker.
Later, slicker. And he goes, what? He goes, nothing.
Nothing.
You know, and just the Clavinisms. That for me, if I had to pick the one line, and it's just I don't know why, and it comes with the conversation. It's just not one line, but it's when he's having dinner with his family when right after in the very beginning of the film where he's like, oh, he developed really early, and J.K. Simmons like, oh, he had a Speedo full of Brillo. That fucking line kills me every time. I die every time that fucking line. We were watching the movie last night, and I was crying. I was waiting for the line, and I was like, yes, because it's so freaking funny to me, man. But yeah, for me, it's everything that Paul Rudd has said in this film to me. That the back and forth between them, you know, it's fantastic, man.
Go ahead, Steph. What's your favorite line?
With me, actually, I didn't pick neither Jason nor Paul Rudd because I figured their lines are so badass that it's. But I'm known to like laugh at the dumbest shit, like stuff that nobody even pays attention. It's kind of like a quick jab and then it goes away.
I think I know where you're going with this.
My two favorite, I picked two. The first one is his coworker, Terry or Tevin.
Ted Devin.
Telling
him,
Ted. Yeah, that he's trying to be part of the. He's trying to be part of the Lou Ferrigno account. So he's sitting there.
The face.
Well, he goes, no, that's not even the part. That's part of it where he's like, look at this face. You know who did this? And then he starts saying what it is, and he goes, people at restaurants have coasters in the urinal. And he goes, there's times where people walk by. This is the quote where he goes, I know you. And he goes, yeah, you pissed on my face, friend.
You pissed on my face, friend.
That part kills me every fucking time. That part and the part where Jason and Paul Rudd are hugging, and he goes, you're a whore, Peter, and he keeps walking. Fucking kills me every time. I rewind that part.
Thomas Len, you're a whore, Peter.
Yes, you're a whore,
so
Peter,
great.
and keeps going. It gets me every time. Those two kill me. You pissed on my face.
All right,
friend.
You didn't pick the one, so that's fine because we're gonna get to it. The one I was thinking of. So I'll get to that later. I have two casting what ifs here. I could only find two, and the first one is Thomas Lennon originally auditioned for Tevin Downey, the coworker we were just talking about that would have been on the Lou Ferrigno deal. I feel like he's in the right role completely. He's not douchey enough to be in that character. So I'm glad he didn't get that role.
I actually liked his character, that Tevin guy. Like whoever that guy was, I think he did it. He was the right amount of obnoxious. Because there's
Jader, do you know the name of that actor?
Huh?
Do you know the name of that actor?
Who?
The Tevin.
Rob Hubel, I think.
Yes.
Is his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Hubel. Yep.
He was funny.
He's one of the he's a that guy. He's like, hey, I've seen that guy.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, you pissed on his face.
You pissed on my face.
His face.
I got one more casting what if, and this one's really weird. John Bernthal was initially selected for Robbie, Pete's brother,
really?
And it was replaced by Andy Samberg. Yes,
I love Andy Samberg as Robbie.
Yeah, but
he's actually one of my favorite characters.
I would let me tell you, John Bernthal could probably pull. You know, John, he is right. He's Shane from Walking Dead. You love him.
Yeah. Oh, so, he would have pulled that shit for sure.
But he could have pulled that shit off. I would have
loved that.
But I think I cannot not see Andy Samberg. Like, I think Robbie was a great character.
No, I know what you mean. However, I can see him doing it because he's such a serious character ever. So it'd be even funnier having him like. So
I know.
Hitting on a guy.
I'm gonna rewind it a little bit where you were mentioning what you would like to see Paul Rudd do and be that silly character as like the main guy. I would, funny enough, like to see him as a villain. You know, and it could be in a comedic movie or it could be in a serious film. But I want to see him do a villain just once because I do love that.
He's too likable. I don't feel like that would work. He's way too likable.
No, let me tell you that the funniest people are the best villains.
I'm sure they are, but you see Paul Rudd, you're immediately rooting for him. I don't know if that would work, but hey, it'd be an interesting choice. I want to skip to the Bill Murray Award for Best Cameo because I want to shout out J.K. Simmons here so badly. The line I was hoping you would bring up, Steph, is I have two best friends, Robbie and Hank Mark Dukas.
Oh my God.
Hank Mark Dukas.
Actually, no, that's not the
best men at our wedding. We've known each other since the first year of IBM.
No, you see, I didn't say that because that's not even the line that part makes me laugh as far as Hank. What is his name again?
Hank Mark
Dukas.
Hank Mark Dukas. It's the part where he's getting married and he goes, just so you both know. You're both my best friend. And he's holding them like that, and then he looks at both of them and looks forward and goes, and Hank Mark Dukas. And he's in the crowd. You see him go.
I love that we get to see Hank at the wedding. That was fantastic, dude.
Love that. I really wanted to bring that up for best cameo because J.K. Simmons is always great in every film he's in. And he has
he looks like my dad.
Yes.
Like, except my dad had hair.
He's the best. He's like the best older white actor I can think of, which is funny to say. He's my favorite one. So I also want to do a special shout out here to Thomas Lennon. I think also qualifies for this award. 2 or 3 scenes. He's super funny and is super awkward. He doesn't understand what's going on. Is it a date or is it just a meetup thing? And it's just.
And when he confronts them when he's doing the tux and he confronts and Jason Segel's like,
"You are a whore." and then he's like, "I'll explain that later."
He goes, "I'd love to hear what happened."
Jader, who's your pick for this award? The Bill Murray Award for Best Cameo.
Best cameo, dude. You know why I love this movie? Because there's so many people that qualify for this film, for this award, for sharpshooter and for cameo. I'm like, can I put them here? Because again, the supporting cast in this is something we haven't talked about, like really delved into. We kept talking about. Obviously, it's a Paul Rudd episode. We want to talk Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, but I feel it's very rare when the supporting cast is just as great as your leading men, right? I feel like there you go. I feel like this whole film, there's not an unlikable character unless they're supposed to be unliked. You get me? Tevin Downey being one of them.
Absolutely.
So he's supposed, but he was great at being the dick, you know?
Yeah.
But even
about the old lady being a squirter.
Yes, dude. No. And what's the other friend, Haley. I forget her name. The actress' name.
Haley.
I'm like, Haley, the one that everything's about me. That they go on a date. And they go golfing with her and all that.
She's
like,
awkward. She is awkward.
You know, Sex on the Beach. just in case. Those are great. There's so many great characters. Jamie Presley married to Jon Favreau.
They're
And then,
my favorite couple in that movie.
The conditions between both of them, and how he's like, all right, I do this favor, I bring him out, we're having sex with the lights on, like we did that one night,
like in Jamaica,
then she goes,
and she's like,
fine. Like in Jamaica, fine, and then when they're having the girls' night, and the conversation is so real. That's what I love about them.
You know
when
who's
they're
in the girls' night conversation? Sidebar. The wife of Bill Hader in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know her name, but she was there. And I was like, wow, she's a dick in this one. Cool.
Yeah. She's the what's her name, bro? I know her name because I studied it for Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
There we go.
No, I'm
Who's your
not
pick
gonna
for
get it. Anyways,
Well,
I promise you, I'm getting there. I promise you.
Right.
But the line with her where she was, they were talking about, oh, he has his boys' nights, and I love that, and because I can see you girls. This is my best night of the week. They're like, oh, he's always flying and seeing his friends. He's always going to Vegas. They're like, Vegas? Aren't you scared? Aren't you scared of getting cheated on? And she goes, and then he's like, 35 overweight with a Jufro and a small dick. Like, just real conversations where I'm like, man, I can see this shit happening with my friends. I've heard
that actually happens.
Talk, things like that where I'm like, man, this is fucking great stuff. So Jamie Presley and Jon Favreau together. But my pick, honestly, for best cameo has to be J.K. Simmons, man. Like, yes. He's the one that killed it for me as well. That was my pick. I was between some other characters. Sharpshooter for me is the hard part. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll get to that next.
But we'll get to that now.
All right,
Who's
go ahead.
Sit down, bro. Let me talk. Okay, so my two favorite, the couple that I liked was Jamie Presley and Jon Favreau. Happy. I loved their character. I love Jamie, period, because that's like my woman crush. I think she's such a bad bitch. And anything she comes out with, every time she's on, I'm like, I love you. I think she's like the female Paul Rudd for me, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow.
Every time she comes out, I'm like, oh, I love her. She's awesome. She's such a bad bitch. I love her. But my favorite cameo was the guy who said, shut the fuck up. And no, I'm not kidding. No, it wasn't him. It was high voice guy. The get
Oh, yes. Okay.
Get. And the part where he's in the wedding and Jason Segel lies because his voice gets high. And so then this Elmo guy is in the groomsman. And then he goes, his voice got high.
So okay, we're picking so many different people. Like it's gonna bleed into the other two categories right here. So let's let's do sharpshooter right now. The Mahershala Ali Award for Best Sharpshooter. This is where I go, Jon Favreau. He's such an asshole in this film, but he's so
he does it so well.
Yes, like he's such a jerk when they're playing poker, and then when Paul Rudd pukes on him, he's just like, "Get the fuck out of my house!
Get the fuck out of my house! Get the fuck out!"
And then when they see each other again at the engagement party, he just kind of walks away from him. It's so funny. So I think Favreau's. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I love that interaction at the engagement party where he's trying to fucking get him to join a band, and he goes, "Oh, you play anything, any tunes?" I saw piano trials. So he's like, "No," and he goes, "Oh yeah," and he goes, "Decorator put it there," and then he goes, and it's starting to get awkward where he's just like, "All right, I'm out," and he's just such like a man's man, bro. So that's a great
even
pick, man.
In that same scene right after he's like, "I'm gonna go check the table," and walks away. Freaking 5 seconds later, you see Jamie Presley's character talking to Paul Rudd's mom and dad, and he comes in, he goes, "We gotta go, it smells like a dead cat in here," and it's the owner right behind him like, "The table's ready." Bro, he's such a savage. I love it. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's super savage.
Jader, it sounds like you're actually no, let's go to Steph here. Steph, who's your pick for the best sharpshooter?
Hold on, I have it here. I picked him too. I picked Jon Favreau.
Jon Favreau. All right. Yeah. So I think we're okay. Jader, you said you were going back and forth with this.
I feel like it's unanimous because Jon Favreau is I have him circled number one, but I also have Thomas Lennon because he's in this, and that whole montage when he's like they're checking out the girl and they're like, oh, like making this thing, and at the end of the fucking date or whatever you want, he goes for a kiss. He kisses him, and then they kind of step back and he goes, little peck right at the fucking end, and it kills me every time. That last peck kills me every time.
Yes.
But I also want to give
Rashida Jones is like, your mouth smells like an ashtray.
Yeah, and he goes, I'm gonna use comment for this. So great. But I also have Lonnie, which is the Elmo, because I have him as well. But you also could throw in Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Andy Samberg is great. This is why I love this, to be honest with you, because it's just there's so many great, and I mean, it was mentioned already, but at the end where you're like, all right, so he's not gonna have Sydney, you know, obviously we've seen so many movies where we know how it's gonna end. You know, Sydney's gonna show up and all that stuff at the end of the film. But when you see the groomsmen come out, and it's every single person that he's met throughout the film that you end up caring for at the end, you know, because you see Mel, and this whole slow motion thing. It's fantastic. That
and I like that each one of them have their characteristics as the camera's going towards them. They each have their characteristics. Like Elmo's like, and then you're a whore, Peter is checking out Robbie like,
yeah.
And Robbie's just looking for everybody. And Lou Ferrigno's being Lou Ferrigno, which by the way is
which we haven't, and that's another one we haven't talked about. Lou Ferrigno was awesome. Lou Ferrigno was great, man. Lou Ferrigno was great in this film. I mean, nothing. I feel like he's bottom tier compared to everybody else that we've mentioned, to be completely honest with you. But I thought having him in the film at all, he was great. He was great in this. It's just, you know, he got overshadowed by like 6 other characters in this movie. Absolutely. You know. So wait. Quick little thing. Tim saying the Rush montage, jam montage was awesome. He quoted, I guess he showed us his favorite line. He wrote, show him your stuff, fellas. It says Sydney to Andy. Nardo wrote, laters on the Menjay.
Yes,
Tim.
Yes, he said that.
Anwar Sadat, which is the dog, the dog, which was fantastic. That was so great. That makes me crack up every time as well.
They got sued.
Yeah.
They got sued.
I'm going to say this right now. We're probably going to have to end up skipping Schmodown questions because we have answered them all that I have written down here.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Me too. The dog one was one of them.
The name of the dog, the name of the business that J.K. Simmons works for. I have the name of the band that they love, stuff like that. You guys know them all already. It's crazy.
I have, I had actually Dad's best friend, Hank
McDukis.
Yes.
It's great. We love this film, obviously. Tim says that, have you watched the DVD extra? Fantastic. Claymonisms are great. Alternate takes, bloopers, etc. And then he wrote, 2 lines I always use since the movie is "Show 'em your stuff, fellas," and "This is my nightmare," which is fucking great.
Let's do the questions. I was prepared. I want to do this. I've never done this.
Well, we answered them all. I mean, unless you want to pick some up.
Well, if you guys can think of some more as we go along, we got a couple more categories to get to. So let's do the Gary Oldman Everyone Award for overacting. I think this goes to the guy with the high voice, Joe Lou Trujillo, and this is like perfect overacting. He's turning it up all the way to like a 15. The voice gets so high every second. At the scene at the soccer game,
when he's chanting,
"Here we go, Galaxy!
Here we go!
Shut the fuck up! You shut the fuck up!" So great, though.
You want to go?
Is this your pick too? I mean, I feel like he's the obvious answer.
He was between that. I actually had Segel on for a little bit. I had Jason Segel, but he wasn't. It's not that he was overacting. I feel like he could have done. I think being that alpha male character that Segel was, he could have overdone it a lot more. To be completely honest with you, but I had Segel on from the beginning, and then I scratched them off, and I put Lonnie on there because I'm like, he's overacting. But this is more compliment than anything because he makes me crack up every single time that I see this movie, and I know it's coming again. I've seen this movie so many times, but for me, it's he's great. This is more complimentary again than it is a diss.
I feel also we could put in the overreacting would be John Favreau and Jamie Presley because their arguing is constant and it's everywhere and it's always that they're together and then they break it up with the sex thing. But every time they're going there, like, are you fucking crazy? What are you thinking? What were you thinking? Hi, like that's every single time. So that's also a little bit of an overreaction because nobody fights that much.
Yeah, actually, Tim in the comments wrote that. He wrote definitely Favreau for the overacting.
Yeah, and the way that and he was an over asshole.
I think you could also say every person who steps in the dog shit is overacting too. All three of them.
Fuck off.
No, when it's the bodybuilder, he goes, "Run, Peter!"
All right, I got a couple interesting details. Like you said, Steph, Rush performed an hour-long concert after that scene for the cast, which is amazing. And just in general, that they get to get a Rush concert after having Rush in their film in general.
I wish, dude. I wish. Oh my God, that'd be so great. Yeah. Yes, dude, I would have been. Hell yeah.
All right, I got this film was originally titled "Let's Make Friends." Definitely not as catchy as "I Love You, Man." Let's Make Friends. It just sounds like a song.
It was on the shelf for like 11 years. I read.
Oh, really?
Before it could,
Jesus.
I read on that same category that it was the original title was that, and that was the original plan. And I guess the title didn't like jump out, so they didn't do anything with it. So it was on the shelf for 11 years until they decided to like go with it as far as like this route.
I always love it in a movie when they say the title so naturally. And in this movie, it comes at the end where they're at the wedding. The last scene, I love you, man. I love you,
man. I love you,
muchacha. That's my favorite part. I love you, muchacha.
Okay, you know, something we didn't mention quickly is when he at the end, actually, where he tells him he finally saw chocolate.
Oh my God, yes.
It's so great. He goes, it's chocolate.
Chocolate is delightful. And I love how all the girls are like, oh my God, I love that movie.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
And then J.K. Simmons turns to Robbie and goes, the fuck is that? And then the Thomas guy leans and goes, it's a beautiful movie. To Robbie, like, it's a beautiful movie.
It's so great.
One of the billboards, the one with Paul Rudd with his shirt off in bed, was taken from Paul Rudd's 2006 Rolling Stone shoe.
Yeah, so. I noticed that too. I was like, hey, I know where that's from.
And here's a very one that's going to blow your mind. J.K. Simmons, who plays Paul Rudd's father in this film, is only 14 years older in real life than Paul Rudd.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons is 14 years older than Paul Rudd, which is just insane.
And he did not age well. I mean, he aged well because he didn't look bad, but he did not age well. Like
no, he looks like
to
he
Paul
could be
Rudd.
20 years older at least.
Yes, minimum.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Well, but I mean, you know what? We spoke about it in the beginning. Paul Rudd's not fair. I think he's drinking the fountain of youth.
It's something crazy.
For sure.
So this is the point where I had Schmodown questions, but like I can show you, this is the ones I had. What is the first nickname for Sydney that Pete gives Sydney?
Jobin.
Jobin. Yeah, you guys know this. Yeah. You guys mentioned this.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Damn it.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Wait, I have my page thing. Down. Are we doing this?
Well,
I'm count us down.
I mean,
all right. So you guys both got Jobin. You guys both.
Wait,
know
how many questions is it?
I only have 4 questions here. If you guys have any more, I'm willing to do it.
I have 9 questions. 10.
10 questions. Let's all right, Steph, let's finish these 4 out real quick. Okay. So you know what? It's not even fair because I already told you guys the questions. What company does Peter's dad work for?
Peter's dad? Oh,
yes.
I don't know that one.
J.K.
Oh,
Simmons.
yeah. I know it.
Do you want to write it down?
I'll write it down.
All right. What company does Peter's dad work for? It's brought up 3 times in their conversation when we first see J.K. Simmons.
I want to show you
the lights of the Schmodown, huh? When you get asked the question?
No,
it's been brought up
everywhere.
It's not that. I wrote every company that comes out in that movie except for fucking that one.
Jader, tell her what it is.
I even know where the wedding place took place. God damn it.
IBM.
Fuck. Okay.
All right. What is the name of the dog?
Okay.
Anwar Sadat. And
yes,
they got sued sued and they wanted the U.S. embassy to give a formal apology. And in Egypt, if you watch the movie there, that particular scene won't come out. It's taken out.
It's so funny though when they
when they have the picture
And then
and
you
the
see
dog right there, and I'm like,
no.
holy
No, my
shit, they
favorite
nailed
part
it.
is when he's screaming and he goes, "You scared my dog," and the dog's like, it's so freaking funny.
All
Okay,
right,
what
and the final one. What is the greatest band of all time? And that is
Rush.
Rush. So I feel like in the Schmodown, these questions would get asked. Those are those surface level, not surface level,
Y'all
deep.
screwed. You actually only, out of everything you said, only asked one of my questions.
Okay, let's go for it, Steph. I don't
But
think
you
I'm gonna
have
do it.
9. You
All
have
right.
9 questions coming at you.
Go for it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Where does Peter Clavin work?
The name of the company?
The name of the company.
Oh
It's
wow,
all
wow!
over
Why
the
are you
movie.
hitting us? You're hitting was like 5 pointers and shit.
Goddamn right. You like the movie so much.
Jesus.
It's all over the movie.
Oh man.
Sorry, Paul Rudd, if you're watching this.
I know even in the movie, like the billboards, I know those catchphrases more than I know the name of the company. Like, oh man, I don't know. Jader, you got it?
Downs has shown me a few. It's Davis Dunn Realty.
Davis
Yep.
Dunn. That's right. It was in blue in the background. I was reading it
Yeah.
yesterday.
And when he pulls in, it's literally in the front. And the first thing you hear in the office is the receptionist say, "Davis Dunn Realty, how may I help you?"
Damn. All right, Jader, write those down, man.
That's a deep fucking cut. Write that down.
I do have it written down.
There's actually a question from Tim. I think. Oh no, maybe we're not. I
No,
thought
he's
it was
got
good.
it. It says, "What is Sydney's scooter name?"
He named his scooter.
I didn't even know he named the scooter. These questions are impossible.
Marlena. Tim, am I right?
Tim, you got to tell us if he's still watching.
Answer me.
It's I think it's Marlena or Marlena. It's one of those.
All right, Steph, give us 2 more because then we got to get to these last 2 categories.
Out of the 9?
All right,
Yeah,
let's keep
pick your favorite one.
Okay. Okay. Who took Tevin, the co-worker's pictures on his brochure?
Oh, I got Tim's question right.
Okay.
That part's the funniest part. How do you guys not know that part?
Who says I don't know it, bro? I'm writing it down.
Okay.
Relax.
I don't know this. I don't know these.
And Night Shyamalan.
Oh,
And
damn.
then he goes, the director to the
director. Village.
Okay, one more. I did the dad's BFF. What is ranked in the restaurant that Peter and Sydney first meet at?
What is
What
ranked?
is what?
Ranked, like top
Okay,
notch.
I know the.
Yes.
I got this one.
3, 2, 1, go. Yes, it's the tits. Okay, that's it. So
Fish
let me tell
tacos.
you.
They are the tits.
That I got. Let me
Little
go through
fun
everything I
fact.
got,
Shout
now
out
the question.
to my boy that lives out there in San Diego, and he said that he actually, because of this movie, went to go have the fish tacos, and he
Are they indeed the tits?
and they are indeed the tits. He says it's hands down the best fish tacos he's ever had. So
also
we
fun
got invited
fact.
to go have dinner with him when we go to California next. It's Stephen Lee. Stephen Lee. Shout out to my
Also-
boy Stephen Lee.
Fun fact here: Paul Rudd and Jason Segel have had fish tacos in 2 movies. This movie and in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, what else did you have in there, Steph? Just real quick, run them down.
Really quick. Okay, so I also had, what does it say on Sydney's business card? And it's Investments LLC. Where does Robbie work? Equinox. Where does Peter meet Sydney? Venice. No, it's James Beach Bar and Grill.
James Beach. Yeah.
Well, I would have said Lou Ferrigno's house.
Where does oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I should have put first mandate. My bad.
Okay.
Whatever. And then where does the wedding take place? And it's El Alcantil Resort because it comes out on the cell phone on Sydney's.
I
And
never
then
want you to write for the throwdown ever.
These are so hard.
Ever.
These
These
so
are hard.
These are
You're
great.
supposed to go like ground level and then work your way up.
No,
There's
I knew
levels
you
to
guys.
this
I thought you
shit.
guys were gonna go asshole mood on me. So I was like, I'm gonna go asshole mood on
No,
you
not
guys.
at
You guys
all.
know
Not
the
at all.
movie.
You can see how many times she watches the damn
That's
show.
what to say. Watch the show. All right. All right. So
Yeah, that's it.
let's move on. We have our second to last category, Apex Mountain. So this one, it was a little tougher because I feel like John Hamburg is an obvious choice for the director. I think this is obviously his Apex Mountain. None of his other films have had any of the staying power or hits that this one has. So I feel like he's an easy choice. Let's talk about the two leads though, Jason Segel and Paul Rudd. Let's start with Segel. I think this is his Apex Mountain, and I know people
film wise.
Yes.
No, hell no. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
So well, here's what I'm going. Sarah Marshall was 2008, and this movie was 2009.
This was 2009.
This back to back is as great as Jason Segel has ever gotten. I think this is like the second half of his Apex Mountain right here.
Okay.
How do you guys see it?
I think he's great in this movie, but if I have to pick one, I would say Forgetting Sarah Marshall all the way. And that supposedly really happened to him.
We really
he wrote Forgetting Sarah Marshall, if I'm not mistaken, because of it's like kind of like a
We really haven't talked about Jason Segel too much in this episode.
We haven't, and I feel like we should, to be honest with you. At least shine some light in him because he's fantastic as Sidney. He's just such a. At first, I was like, this guy's kind of a bum, this and that, but he's not. He's just living life the way he wants to live life. Even when he asked for money the first time, I was like, why the fuck are you asking him for money? And it was literally to help him out because he couldn't do it at the time, and he paid his money. He paid him back right when he said he was going to pay him back. So at first, the first time I saw this movie, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about him. Like. Again, I thought he was like a little over the top, but it's just the way that just his way of living, which with repeated views, I love this character, and it sucks that we haven't really talked about him. I think maybe because in my head I'm like, this is a Paul Rudd episode. Let's talk Paul Rudd, but he's just in the cover it's both of them, and it's both of their names up there, and deservedly so. To be completely honest with you. Deservedly so. They're both so great in this, especially Sidney. And I love how he was that friend when at the end of the first mandate or whatever, where he was just like, "Oh man," Paul Rudd's like, "Man, we didn't even talk real to you." He's like, "No, man, you just seem like a cool guy. Wanted to get a couple, drinks or whatever." And I'm like, "Man, he was just a very genuine character, and that's the best way I feel you can describe him. He was just very genuine throughout." There was never usually you had something where you had like the climax of the film, and the climax was really him helping him out type shit. Like when he was taking him to the movie, and he was always looking out for his boy, and that's something that is very rare nowadays. And that's probably why I
right away for his honesty and just that opening scene where you first meet him, where he's going through the whole fart thing with the guy who's never going to sleep with that girl. You're like, man, this guy's awesome. He's able to predict everything. He just seems super chill. He's pointing out the obvious things like, hey, I just come to these things for the free food.
And he straight up told him, I have no interest in buying this house. I've come here to meet single cougars, Yeah. And
I kind of agree and disagree with you as far as his personality. I feel that he is wants to live the way he is, but I feel like he does it as a coping mechanism because a lot of people think that it's just Paul Rudd trying to find a BFF, but it's him too because all his BFFs are married with children or working.
Yeah,
and
that's a great point. Absolutely.
No one points out the fact that this guy, he has his montages too where he introduces Peter to his friends. They go mountain climbing, and then they can't hang out eating a 6 what size foot sub?
Because the 6 foot sub.
Yeah, not a 6 foot. 6 foot small, but it's a big one. He got a huge sub.
6 inches and 6 foot are completely
6 foot. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm half asleep. I'm sorry. My beer is kicking in. And then he orders that for all his friends, and they leave him out. And then throughout the movie, you see him with pictures of his friends that don't exist anymore. and how he wants to be invited to Legoland and then they say no. Like, he's also looking for a friend. So I feel like his way of living is because it's a coping mechanism as far as not having that other person there.
I didn't even think about that. And
That is
absolutely-
fantastic observation. Great
I
job.
didn't even you completely consider it to be Paul Rudd looking for a friend, and it's absolutely
It's
a
both of
two-way
them.
street with
They need
Jason
each other,
Segel.
yeah.
That's amazing. All right,
Mind blown, huh?
let's
Fantastic.
talk real quick. Paul Rudd, I'll bring it up again. I don't know what his apex mountain is because I feel like his entire career has been his apex mountain. He's never fallen. He's always been
getting better. This had Ant-Man not happened, I feel this would be his apex mountain. But now it's Ant-Man, and then we're always going to see something different as the man's career goes on. And I don't see him stopping anytime. Usually you'll be like, all right, like, you don't hear from this person. You're always going to hear about Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
So
even when he's like a side character, he's perfect. Like,
yes. So
I actually had the director as my apex.
He's
because the same thing. If you're looking at what he's actually directed, he directed Along Came Polly, which is great. I don't knock that film. I think it's fantastic. But then you have I Love You Man, and then after that you have Why Him, which I feel was not as good.
No.
So in fact, out of the three films, it's the worst. Why Him?
Yes.
So I feel like I Love You Man is definitely Apex Mountain belongs to John Hamburg.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question. When you guys say
it.
Apex Mountain, just so I answer correctly, you mean like in general anything that person has done, or something that pertains to this particular movie?
In general too, so you can throw in some
everything. Career. It's the career.
Like, I know How I Met Your
Mother
throws in for Jason Segel. That's definitely a factor for him. I think of movies first, and that's like what people watch the most is movies, especially at this time. I know How I Met Your Mother was a massively popular show.
And he's way better in How I Met Your Mother than he is in I Love You Man. That's why
Marshmallow.
Yeah, no, his name is Marshall in that, and he's just a great character.
Yeah. He's a fantastic.
That's why I don't throw Rashida Jones in this either, because she's great in Parks and Rec.
Which we didn't even talk about. She was actually one of my the supporting actor. Like, I thought she was an amazing character. Like, she like supported him. Like, go out, find a friend. That's important. You need that. You need, as a man, you need to have that man cave. You need to have that conversation with your friend. Like, I thought that was a very she had a strong character as far as that. Like, she would say that he needs this, but like he needed his mom as his best friend or his best man. But she was like, I encourage you. You have a mandate. Go do this instead of that. Like, even when the guy kissed her, she was like, why did he kiss you? And she's like, I love you, baby, but go wash your. Like, she was such a laid back character, and I love when girls are like that they're like not
like
stressed.
She didn't even really.
Bitches.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but she didn't even like freak out at the fact that he was trying to go on these mandates. She supported it throughout until that little bump on the road, obviously with the Rush.
That's the only part that I was like, bitch, really? Out of one, and he invited you, like.
Or that interrupted the wedding. Like, that's easily a move in any romantic comedy where the female gets angry because, oh, look at this guy disrupting our wedding. He ruined my special day. Blah blah. No, she let it happen.
She called him. Like, I thought that her role, and I say that because in Parks and Rec, believe it or not, she's the character I dislike in Parks and Rec. Like, I'm not wild about her.
I always gonna know.
Well, she's pissing me off. Again, I'm only on season 2, but she's making some moves right now where I'm like, what are you doing? You know,
I can't stand her in that show, and I haven't seen her in a lot.
I liked her in The Office. I thought in The Office she was great.
Yes,
very short-lived.
She was great,
but she was awesome in The Office. You know, and again, there's a million other roles that she's in.
When you're in a show with comedians, including Amy Poehler, Chris Pratt, Aziz Ansari, Nick Offerman, Aubrey Plaza, you're gonna get overshadowed, and Rob Lowe, like Adam Scott. It's just what's gonna happen. But she holds her own.
And our boy Ben Schwartz, man.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yes, dude.
All right, last
But
question.
I'm seeing more Ben Schwartz now in the show where I'm like, bro, this guy's funny as hell, man.
Yes. You
John
guys need to finish that show.
Ralphio is a badass character, dude. He
It'll
is
make
awesome.
you cry. It'll make you
Wait,
laugh.
I didn't say my Apex Mountain.
Oh, go for it.
It's John Favreau.
Oh,
No,
What do you
no
mean, no?
way. He has
Why?
Iron Man, babe. He made
Calm
Iron
Calm
Man.
down. You
He
didn't let
directed
me
Elf.
explain, pendejo.
All right.
The reason
I disagree.
why is because I remember me on my side. Remember, I'm not in depth with movies as much as you guys. Like, I watch my movies and I defend myself. However, me watching him, I remember seeing him in The Breakup, and he was just a side character, and he was the funniest side character, by the way. And then on top of that, in Couples Retreat, he was also a side character, and he was fucking hilarious. And then as I see him come out, he lets me know that this man starts directing Iron Man and kicking ass. And I was like, this nigga started in freaking this homeboy started in freaking
Yeah. We don't
What's it
that's the
called?
one word we don't use, baby. We don't use that word
I
here.
know I fixed it. This homeboy started started at the bottom, now we're here. Like, he was a side guy, and now he's like putting his balls on people's foreheads with Iron Man. Like, I'm sorry, I thought that guy's mountain went up.
He's also done, he directed The Jungle Book. Like Tim just pointed out,
See?
The Mandalorian.
But that's after.
But that's all
this is
here.
not, no, but we're talking about peak of career. So you're talking about this is the best he's ever been in, is what you're saying.
Oh, I thought you got. That's why I said explain to what it is. Is that like a coming up, or is that like a point? Like,
and remember,
which one is it?
Iron Man. No, this is like the top of their career. They're not gonna get any better than this. This is where.
Okay.
This
Then
is where.
Jason Segel for getting Sarah Marshall and this.
Okay. I mean, also you want to throw in. I just want to point out Chef too. Like, I think he's a great actor in Chef.
Chef is fantastic. Again, he directed Iron Man. He did the Jungle Book. Like, for me, we have an
I
MCU.
misunderstood.
We have the MCU because of this man. So
I misunderstood the question. Get it together.
Respeto, woman. Respeto.
He was the monkey in Solo, a Star Wars.
I literally asked, what do you mean by this? Is this like a broad thing, or is this like a peak thing? Focus. And y'all said it was broad.
Mandalorian.
We'll
I
cut
can't
it
wait
out.
for season 2. I can't wait for
He
season 2.
created Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
All right.
That Baby Yoda melts me.
Guys, who won the movie? I think
I think it's unanimous, right? Is it unanimous?
Yes, right?
Yes.
What do you got?
It's Segel and
Let's
Rudd.
go.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And the high voice guy.
No, the entire cast is really good. I don't think there's a weak part in it anywhere.
There's not a weak part.
No.
You want to know what the weak part of this film is, in my opinion? We didn't get enough J.K. Simmons, enough Thomas Lennon. Like, I wanted more out of the supporting cast. Yeah. Honestly, like that, and imagine that be just an even longer film. It's just so tight. It's just such a tight, well-rounded film. Which I remember when this movie came out, the reviews were, I don't want to say lukewarm. They were better than lukewarm. It was well received, but people just thought it was an all right film. They're like, oh yeah, no, para pasar el tiempo, to have a good time, go watch this film. Overall, everybody was like, oh, it's fine.
It's like the other guys. The other guys were the same way. The other guys was like, but the more you watch the other guys, the funnier that movie gets. Same thing with me and I Love You, Man. The more I watch it, the funnier it gets.
Yeah. So I think this is an easy choice. These two, like when we talk about bromances, it's one of the best we've ever seen in any film. Jader, I'm sorry to say it, but I'd rather hang out with Segel and Rudd than with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels and Dumb and Dumber for another hour. Like, I would like to see the sequel to I Love You, Man before another sequel to Dumb and Dumber.
That's not fair. They got set up.
We saw how the sequel to Dumb and Dumber was.
I haven't seen part 2 for that reason, because I don't want original Dumb and Dumber to be ruined for me, because that's my favorite movie of all time.
Good, Jader.
So, for me, we haven't done this category in a while because usually the movies that we've done have sequels already. But I mean, is it obvious that the sequel to this movie looks like Sydney finds somebody?
And then it's backwards.
And it's not backwards because the whole movie, the concept is basically, them trying to find a friend, but they have the friend already, and it's probably Rudd like telling him, trying to get him to find a woman because he's like, hey, you're lonely, this and that and that. that's what I see the sequel of this film being like. I actually wrote that down because I'm like, we haven't touched on this, and this movie does not have a sequel, so I wanted to bring that to light a little bit. But that's what my sequel would look like. It'd be.
Would you be okay with a sequel?
Yes.
I love these movies. I love this movie so much that I honestly feel, and I feel like it's, if they do it now, I'm fine without it, but I'm fine with it. And I'll tell you why. Every single person involved in this film is still hot. They're still going at it. They can still do it. We got a Dumb and Dumber sequel. I don't even know how many years after. I think it was 20 years after the original film came out. Because I don't even know if it came out in 2014 or 15, but I know it's around there. 13, 14, or 15.
It was too late.
It was too late already. And I feel like our characters got old, this and that. I feel like if they do this within the next 2 years, and it's already a while. Again, it's been 11 years since this movie came out. But I feel like everybody that we're talking about is still on it. They're still making work. They're still, everything about it is great. So I will be down with a sequel. I don't need it, but I wouldn't be mad if they announce it soon. You know?
Let me tell you, I think Jason Segel needs it more than anyone.
Yes, and I was going to say that. I feel like Jason Segel needs it. Yes, absolutely.
I haven't heard of him in a while. I don't know what he's doing. He had a small cameo in This Is the End, and other than that, I don't remember him in too many things after that. Like This Is 40.
He was Knocked Up.
Yeah, Knocked Up. See, he was part of the Apatow crowd, and he took off. I think he peaked too early because you look at that crowd. Jonah Hill's still going, and Seth Rogen's still going. Like all these guys are still moving, but I feel like he peaked way too early, and now he's trying to get his way back. And I don't know what's going to get him there. Maybe a sequel to this gets him there. I don't know. But that's going to do it for our Paul Rudd episode of the Jader and Kyle Show, episode 18. Steph, thank you so much for coming on the show. We loved having you.
No problem. Whenever you want. If y'all talk Batman, call me.
Batman. Oh, okay.
Which one?
Any of them.
No, you have to pick one.
Pick one. Nipple Batman. No, I'm just kidding. Batman Returns. I love that movie.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I would love to dive into that film. Yes.
I love that movie.
Let me tell you, she shined some light on me on the Penguin's final words in that
One
movie.
Of his last words is
No, don't ruin it. We'll talk about it when we talk about the episode. I know, but save it.
It's literally a whole thing, but it's not like what you think. It's like fucking funny.
It's hilarious.
He said something funny. He says something funny, and then he's like, "I need something." Like and he says the funny line, and he's like, "I need the cold," and then croaks. But what he says is hilarious.
Really funny. It's really funny.
I saw that movie a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know what you guys are talking about. Okay, we'll do that one day. We'll definitely get to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Steph, once again, thank you for coming on. Really good analysis in this episode here. Especially that Jason Segel point was really good.
She went like this. Oh my!
Boom! There's my metaphor.
As you were talking about it, Jader and I was looking at Jader. We're both just like, "Oh shit!" Like,
holy shit!
It's true. I was like, because it came off of what he was saying. Because I understood what he was saying. Like he was a bum, but I was like, yeah. But it was because he was being a bitch because he didn't have a friend. That's what it is. But with that said, Paul Rudd, we love you. Please watch our show.
Yeah, Steph, is there any final words you want to say? Anything you want to say to the audience?
I just said it. Paul Rudd, I love you. Watch the show. And to the audience, I hope I wasn't annoying. Yay.
Jader, any last words, man?
No, man, I have had fun, man. This was a fun episode. I love, obviously, talking films that I love. This is honestly, I don't want to say, maybe my top 15 favorite comedies of all time. Okay. It hits me on a personal level, man. And it's so fantastic. So I'm glad that we, funny enough, out of everything that we reviewed, I'm surprised that this movie we reviewed it so early. So thank you, Kyle, for wanting to do a Paul Rudd episode, and happy birthday, my friend. I love you, man.
Yay! Happy birthday! I love you, man. Love you, muchacha.
All right, and thank you guys so much. Yep, 23 on Saturday, so it's gonna be a fun day. I'm working. It's gonna.
Oh, I'm gonna work on my birthday too.
Huh?
You know what? I retract my previous statement. Fuck you. Fucking 23 years old. Are you kidding me?
You want a dick?
I know.
What a
I know.
dick.
F
All right,
you and
thank
You
you
know,
all for joining us.
It's someone's birthday 2 weeks from now.
We
Yeah.
might need to do another
But I'm not
episode.
23.
then.
I'm 34. I'm a hoe. I'm not 33.
All right,
I look
guys.
it up.
Thank you for joining us. And as always, tune in next week for the Jader and Kyle show. Slap